Salut everyone! In this video, we're going to be talking about the state of gaming on Linux in 2024. Yes, we are 40 days away of the new year, 2025. Like, in case you are a little bit lost. But the idea is that this year has been crazy. We have a lot of high, but also some of the lowest low in the historic of gaming on Linux. I wanted to share my perspective around those, but also discuss with you what are going to be the big takeaway in 2025, at least for my prediction. Let's get into it. As always, we're going to start with a little bit of context. And at this moment of the video, you're going to be like, hey, why should I listen to Air Max? Like, what? Like, is he a real gamer? Well, for you guys, I'm going to share my little, like, small achievement. But I want to share my experience first before we get into all the, different topic I want to cover for this year of 2024. And I have to say that one of my latest experience of gaming on Linux has been awesome, has been flawless. And I can say clearly here, it has been better than what I could ever experience on Windows. And the game I'm going to be talking about right now is Diablo 4. So Diablo 4 is one of those examples on Linux, which is kind of like the best experience you could have on any type of platform. If you're running the game on Linux, you're going to have less issue. You're going to have a smoother gaming experience. And to prove my point, I want to share what I was able to do for the last release of Vessel of Hatred on Linux. I've been playing this game exclusively on Linux. Actually, no, I'm lying. I've been testing it on Windows like 2 days ago, just before doing this video, because I wanted to make sure that the experience I had on Linux was actually above the one on Windows. And I can say, like, really peacefully that the experience on Linux is just better. So what do I do? Like, I just reached Paragon 300 with my Spiritborn. I did everything possible in the game, and I reached the highest level of farming in this game. It has been awesome. I think I had like maybe one crash for the whole experience. And I spent a lot of time. So I don't know how many hours I spent exactly, because I let the game open multiple times, and I have multiple characters I've been playing, because the game is not perfect still, like, but it's more like a game issue rather than a Linux issue. So I had to create like one new character for each build I did with my Spiritborn. But long story short, I did everything in the game. I literally did everything. I beat Paragon 300. I beat the pit level 150, which is the highest in the game. And I did it 100% of the time on Linux. And again, like, I'm going to say it again and again and again, the experience was awesome. But Diablo 4 was not the only game that had like a flawless experience since day one. And when I say day one, is like since the launch of the game itself. So I won't go through the whole list of 2024, because I believe like 2024 has been a great year for all the Linux gamer out there and gamer in the world. Like, it has been crazy the number of titles that have been pushed, like quality title. But I want to mention some of them. I had a ton of fun. So the first one has been the finals. I made a little video about it. Competitive game, which is still supported with the anti-cheat right now as we speak. So it could be a good alternative to Apex Legends, for example. Really good experience, really great FPS. The other game I want to mention is Palworld, which was also great experience, like just awesome. Last Epoch, which was officially like released after the early access. I don't think they are in early access anymore. They are in 1.0 right now, and the support has been like really good since day one. We also have the extension of Elden Ring, which was pushed this year. And again, experience wonderful. I made many streams about this game too. Really good. So obviously Diablo 4, but I already talked about it. We had Deadlock. So if you had access to the early access through Steam, Deadlock has been running like crazy on my CachyOS machine. Like, it's just awesome. I have like 400 plus FPS no matter what. So this game is definitively working really great on Linux, that's for sure. We had Silent Hill 2. So this one I didn't buy it, but I heard such good feedback towards the community of this remake that I wanted to put it on the list. And the latest one was Stalker 2. So Stalker 2, we're going to check this week if the performance compared to Windows is on par. I do believe it won't because it's a DirectX 12 game. However, like, I still want to do the benchmark and see, like, even if we lose a little bit of FPS, if just the gaming experience itself is actually better on Linux because there is less stutter normally, like, on Linux compared to Windows. So, you know, Stalker 2 is here, working day one. And if you want to watch this benchmark, I really invite you to subscribe to the channel. And this week, you're going to be able to watch me live, checking the difference between, like, Windows, CachyOS, and PicOS. I think I'm going to do a benchmark like that where we check the difference for this specific game. But day one, the game was working and the experience was on my machine flawless. Now, if we continue about gaming and accessibility of games on Linux, there is also some drawback. And I want to mention 3 games that we actually lost access this year on Linux. And it was kind of like a pretty big negative. I made video about those 3 too. The first one was League of Legends. So League of Legends switched to Vanguard, which is a kernel anti-cheat, the same that they use for Valorant. So now there is no more League of Legends on Linux. Unfortunately, there is no trick. You have to use Windows to play this game. So that's kind of a bad shot for Linux, I have to say, because League of Legends is definitely a popular game for the gamer, whatever you think about it out there. And yeah, it's gone on Linux. The second big game is GTA 5 Online. So if you are a big fan of GTA 5 and you're playing online, well, it's gone. Rockstar decided to pull out because apparently they say there were too many cheaters. I think deep down, like, they could have made a little bit of effort toward fixing the problem with Valve, but it's not happening. So yeah, this one is a big lose also in my opinion. And the last one is Apex Legends. Like, this game was a game who actually made me switch from Windows to Linux because I'm really into all those big battle royale game. I was, at least. And I have to say that Apex Legends, even if it's not as good as it was like 2 or 3 years ago when the game was totally hyped on this world, it's still a big lose for the Linux gamer out there. If you want to watch more about that, I make like 3 videos about the situation toward Apex Legends and the anti-cheat crisis in general. I'm going to put the link in the description below. But all those big games coming out from you know, the Linux sphere are really related to the fact that we have a problem with anti-cheat. From a perspective of a Windows gamer who want to switch to Linux and is really into one of those games, it's kind of suck, I have to say. Like, you won't be able to play those games. And this is really, like, I would say, like, the big break, can I say that? Like, the big main issue related to gaming on Linux right now. So there is this website called Are We Anti-Cheat Yet? You can go through and check if your favorite game is actually supported on Linux. But outside of that, I would say that most of the game, I would say like 99.9% of the game what doesn't have an anti-cheat are actually supported on Linux. And there is a lot of games, guys. Like, there is a ton of games you can play for day one. And even if they are not like ready for day one after launch, you can be sure that some of those games are going to be like compatible in the future if the dev are willing to do the effort to push the anti-cheat there. But this is the world we are living in 2024. We'll see in 2025 if we can circumvent this issue. And I believe like it could happen, but we'll talk about that later in the video. Now let's change perspective and talk about the different distros out there that pop out but also improved in 2024 when it comes to Linux gaming. And I want to give my statement there. Like, in 2023, like, you could have a good experience on Linux already, but I would say like you would have to kind of like put your hand under the hood to touch the motor, you know, of your Linux distribution to get a really smooth experience. And I think like this year of 2024 really like iron out most of the issue related to Linux gaming. So obviously it comes with a lot of improvement outside of the distros themselves. But I believe that multiple distros right now will give you a really great experience out of the box for gaming. Maybe not like optimize. Like for the optimized like distro, I would count like maybe 5 of them on the 500 like possible distro out there. But I would say like just for gaming without optimization and having your game running like basically on Linux, now you have like most of the main distro which are going to give you an effortless experience when it comes to launching game on Linux. So I'm thinking about Ubuntu, I'm thinking about Fedora, like the latest release have been like really good. And when I'm saying that, I'm really thinking about installing the driver, and especially for Nvidia, managing the secure boot option, like all those options which were like kind of like not even present last year. Now they are directly incorporated within the installer of those distro, within their repo, and it just is flawless. So again, like I think in 2024, we kind of like moved from, you know, like a tweaker type of approach in 2023 to a more like iron out experience for all the newcomers out there who want to enjoy the Linux experience while gaming. And this is really good. So 2024 was a great year for that. And now for the gaming distro optimized out of the box, I made multiple videos on them, multiple stream. But I would say in my top 5, I will include PicaOS, CachyOS, Nobara. Those ones will be like the ones that will pop out for having, you know, like those best experience out of the box. So there is Bazzite too, if you are into immutable. And yeah, let's give it to those 4 I'm gonna make a full video, gonna be like comparing all the different distro for the best gaming experience out of the box pretty soon. So don't forget to subscribe. I know it's the second time I ask you, but I've seen a lot of viewers are watching this video and they are not subscribing, which kind of like impacts the channel negatively. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to subscribe. I know I'm annoying. I know. So after looking at the gaming on Linux from the perspective of the distro, let's think about the desktop environment. And desktop environment is really what is going to define your experience on your desktop. And the one I want to mention is obviously Plasma 6, which make a huge jump compared to Plasma 5 when it comes to features related to gaming. So obviously you have Wayland, which is now like super well implemented inside KDE, but also GNOME. But I think KDE is the one right now which is going to give you the more feature out of the box when it comes to VRR, variable refresh rate, or G-Sync for the NVIDIA user, but also for HDR, and also for allowing tiering within your game without too much effort. I think KDE right now is the one which is going to give you the best experience out of the box. So GNOME is not far behind, and especially with the fact that now like Wayland is default on most of the distro out there, and the experience in GNOME have been like really good, but there is still some bugs that need to be worked on at the end of 2024. I'm looking forward for the team to increase, I would say, the gaming experience out there. It's a really good place to be in when you think about the desktop environment and the support for the latest like gaming feature out there. So again, 2024, when you think about it, has been insane. X11 was great, but Wayland, in my opinion, is really above when it comes to responsiveness within the game and overall experience, especially if you have multiple screens. Like Wayland is the future. There is some issues still, but compared to what it was like in 2023, this is night and day, guys. This is night and day. I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna provide us in 2025. Now let's talk about the GPU. And when I'm talking about the GPU, I'm going to be talking about AMD and Nvidia. So spoiler alert, I'm not owning any AMD card right now, but I have a lot of feedback on multiple Discord I've been on, and also I'm reading the news out there. But I can tell, like, even on the AMD side, where you had already a good experience in 2023 on Wayland, you had a lot of improvement and quality of life through the different open source driver, which had a lot of correction and improve in terms of like performance overall. So I would say 2024 is definitively good for all the AMD users out there. But if you think about who made the biggest improvement in terms of support this year, it's definitively NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, I'm running a 4090 on my PC. And I went from like being stuck in 2023 on X11 and having like almost a like extremely like bad experience on Wayland. Like I couldn't even run Hyperland, just to give you an idea. And I went from this experience to like something which is almost flawless. So for some game, again, I'm going to mention Diablo 4 again, but a lot of other games, they run perfectly on Wayland. You're going to have, like, it's just crazy. Like I feel like I'm repeating myself for the last year, but you're going to have really like the best gaming experience on Wayland with NVIDIA. I have to say that the NVIDIA team did an incredible job this year, pushing Wayland, pushing explicit sync. But they continue and move another level because 1.5 months ago or 2 months ago, with the release of the driver 560, they also push DLSS frame gen. So think about it, like just imagine you have almost all the features linked to Windows right now on Linux, and all those features have been added in the span of like 12 months, which is just crazy. So this is really good. There is still like room for improvement from the NVIDIA side still, because it's not perfect. I know a lot of users encounter a lot of issue, but think about it this way. We have now this corporation, NVIDIA, which is willing to support Linux for the gamer out there, which is willing to make the effort to give us the best experience ever. And we are getting there, chat. So this is, in my opinion, the biggest move of this year, 2024, for all the gamers out there, because most of the gamers are using NVIDIA. And if you are thinking about switching from Windows to Linux, next year will certainly be like the best moment to do it, because you won't see the difference in terms of like performance. And I'm going to be talking about it later in this video. And yeah, I've been teasing about talking about what we could expect for 2025 for the last like 10 minutes. So what can we really expect in 2025 when it comes to gaming on Linux? So like the first thing I want to talk about is definitively anti-cheat. I'm expecting Valve stepping in and providing an alternative for all the big like publisher, developer out there for a multiplayer online game. And I think it's going to happen before the end of 2025, so late 2025, I would say fourth quarter, because I do believe like Valve is working on solution to fix those issues. So my sources are simple. I've watched some video about Valve presentation where they were showing how they are trying to create an anti-cheat system, which is going to be on the server side only. I didn't really make any video on top of this because a lot of other content creators talk about it, but this could be one way to fix the anti-cheat crisis running on Linux right now, and giving an opportunity for all those game devs to have an alternative to the kernel anti-cheat. That's one of my hope. Again, is this going to be a trust me bro type of claim here? So you take it as you want, but some of my trust me bro vision have been like kind of like real. Just watch my previous video for my prediction of 2024, and some of those things actually worked. So, you know. So the second thing I'm expecting to get better is the support of HDR. So right now, the support of HDR is actually there on Linux, but it's not top notch. And I'm expecting it to get, you know, a level further before the end of the year, because HDR is definitely something that all the gamers out there are looking for. And even if the Windows implementation is not top notch, I think Linux could be a really good contender to the best, I would say, like HDR implementation on the operating system. It could definitely be something. So that would be one of my bets out there. The other good news is like right now, like if you are running Wayland, you are going certainly like to be limited to a certain amount of desktop environment. But we have seen a lot of improvement of the implementation of Wayland on other desktop environments and KDE, Hyperland of GNOME, for example. And now we have more and more contender coming in. So I'm thinking about Cinnamon. That certainly is going to push something there. I'm thinking about XFC, which is going to have the Wayland support. That is going to be definitively a plus for all the user of Linux out there, because Wayland has his issue, as I mentioned before, but it's still better than X11 for gaming. Another plus related to Wayland is going to be the full support of gaming within Wayland itself, rather than going through X-Wayland. So one of the news was pushed, I think like 2 or 3 days ago, is the launch of 1.9.22, which is defaulting, not defaulting, what am I saying? Defaulting to the native Wayland support rather than going through X-Wayland. And I've made some tests offline, and I can tell you guys that it gives a big push in terms of experience, and especially in terms of like input lag. Running through like pure Wayland is just awesome. So again, this is going to add, I think, another plus to gaming on Linux next year. So this one, I believe, is going to be big. And the latest improvement I'm looking toward in 2025 is the improvement of VKG 3G. So if you don't know what it is, VKG 3G is part of Wine, but also Proton. And this part is specifically like focusing on the game running on DirectX 12. And right now, like if I had one complaint toward my experience with my Nvidia card, is related to the performance of those games running through VKG 3D. I know the devs have been doing like a lot of improvements in the last month. It has been incredible, like don't get me wrong, but there is still like work to be done to reach the performance on Windows down there. And yeah, I'm really looking toward like 2025 to fix those issues, because we have to really like think about all those new games that are going to come out, and obviously they're going to be running in DirectX 12, and you want to make sure that this Linux gamer out there are going to be the best experience ever. That's it, guys. I do believe that overall it's positive. It's just my way to present things. It might sound a little bit negative, but I would say like so far, 2024, even if it was not the year of the Linux desktop, definitively not, it has been one of the best years when it comes to gaming. Like it has just been amazing about like all the progression which has been made in Wayland, in the driver, in the distribution, and the support of the hardware related to gaming. Again, I'm thinking about the driver out there, like and also like from a gaming perspective, where all those big games, they are like available day one if they don't have like, you know, any anti-cheat issue. And I have to tell you guys, this is just awesome. So I believe like the future of gaming in 2025 on Linux is just going to be awesome. And even if we did like an incredible jump in 2024, I think 2025 could be reaching another like, you know, like top that we never reached before. So it's pretty promising, guys. I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I think I mentioned everything. Like, guys, let me know in the comment below what you think. If you have other prediction, maybe I totally missed. But again, like, thank you very much for watching. I want to thank all the financial supporters of this channel, the one on YouTube, the member of La Crème de la Crème Club, the one on Patreon, the other member of La Crème de la Crème Club. Guys, you're the best. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bisous, bisous.